So I was driving, and I had her buckled in the passenger seat.
So she looks like she's just sleeping.
She's just sitting up, and my plan was, for me, I underestimated my own strength and how much a dead body would weigh. Because
it's limp weight.
Yeah. I got up on top of the bridge to throw her off. My plan was I was going to throw her off, run over, jump over the divider, and get into Preston's car. And I go up, open the door, unhook her, pull her out, start dragging her to throw her over, and then cars start coming up. I see, like, headlights coming. I try to get her over, and I can't. My leg up. Like, the weight from her body, like, made me fall, and my leg, like, went up. So now I'm limping, my leg's up, and there's 3 cars coming up. So I grab her body. Dude, I had superhuman strength, and I threw it in the car, and I picked it up, and her feet were up here, and her head was down there, and 3 cars go by, and I'm losing my shit, because that easily could have been a cop.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, the police station is like right there.
Yeah. And then Preston comes over the bridge, goes around, makes a U-turn, comes up behind me. The 2 of us throw the body over, and then we're out.
Oh, so you needed help?
I needed help, yeah.
She's not even that big of a girl, right?
No.
On December 3, 2016, at approximately 2:45 a.m., an Uber driver was traveling along the Shark River in Belmar when they noticed a car parked in an unusual manner. Sensing something amiss, the driver alerted the police. The vehicle, a 1994 silver 4-door Oldsmobile 88, was peculiarly positioned at the crest of the Route 35 bridge, which links Belmar and Avon by the Sea in Belmar, New Jersey.
911, where's the emergency?
Yeah, not emergency. Actually on the Belmar Bridge, right after heading south in the middle of the bridge, there's a car that's abandoned. It's off to the side of the road, but...
The Belmar Bridge being the 35 bridge?
Yeah, the 35 bridge would be going from north going south. I'm driving Uber and Lyft tonight, so I just figured I'd give a call in, because it's kind of hard to see, I think, if you're coming the other way.
And was there anybody inside the vehicle?
I looked, no.
Okay.
Unless they were sleeping. I couldn't see them by their head being up. Nobody looked like they were in it.
All right.
When police arrived, they found the keys still in the ignition, but no one was inside or near the car. The vehicle appeared to be in good condition and fully operational. They traced the car to 96-year-old Lillian Stern and learned that her 19-year-old granddaughter, Sarah Stern, often drove it. Given the car's location on a bridge overlooking the Shark River, the police urgently needed to find Sarah. Had she fallen in? They needed to know. Sarah's father, Michael, informed the police that he had been trying to contact Sarah all night, sending her numerous texts, without any response. He was unaware of her whereabouts and was on vacation in Florida at the time. As the police searched for Sarah and spoke with her friends, a clearer picture of her began to emerge. At 4 a.m. that morning, they visited the home of Liam McAtasney, a close friend of Sarah's since first grade. They had met at Sunday school when they were just 6 years old. Liam described Sarah as very depressed recently, mentioning that she was packing her belongings and expressing a desire to move to Canada. He also said that her father was crazy. The police were aware that Sarah's mother had died of cancer in 2013 and that Sarah was an only child. Liam revealed that Sarah had been suicidal, raising concerns that she might have taken her own life. The car's location suggested she could have jumped off the bridge into the Shark River, potentially being swept out into the Atlantic Ocean. The search for Sarah in and around the Shark River yielded no clues about her whereabouts. Police hoped a surveillance camera under the Route 35 bridge would aid their investigation, but it had been non-functional for years. The police interviewed Liam again. Given his close relationship with Sarah and the fact that he was likely one of the last people to see her, They sought to understand her mental state and determine if this was a suicide case. On December 2nd, the day before she went missing, Liam and Sarah went to Taco Bell, ran some errands, and then returned to her house. Liam said he left that afternoon for work, which was the last time he saw her. Sarah Stern's neighbor had a surveillance camera that captured footage of Liam leaving her house in the late afternoon, consistent with his statement to the police about going to work. Later that night, around 11:45 p.m., the camera recorded Sarah's car reversing out of the driveway, but it did not reveal who was driving. The car was subsequently found on the bridge, and Sarah was missing. Some believed that Sarah had driven to the Shark River and taken her own life. Some of Sarah's other friends didn't believe she had taken her own life or run away. Most of them didn't describe her as depressed, instead, they saw her as full of life and happy-go-lucky. Additionally, they knew she would never leave behind her beloved dog, Buddy. On the night she went missing, Buddy was found locked in a cage at her house, starving. It was completely out of character for Sarah to abandon him, as she loved him dearly. Despite their conviction that Sarah wouldn't have left without Buddy, the search for her was eventually called off. The police and the community had scoured the entire area without finding any clues. It seemed as though Sarah's disappearance would remain a mystery. Everything changed in January 2017 when two of her closest friends became implicated in the case. The case took a significant turn when Anthony Curry contacted the police, believing he might have crucial information about Sarah's disappearance. Although uncertain, he felt compelled to share a story Liam had told him, which had been weighing on his mind. Anthony, a friend of Liam's, informed the police that on Thanksgiving evening, Liam had confided in him about a plan to kill a girl. Liam described how he would strangle her and throw her off a bridge, presenting it as a plot for a movie. When Anthony later learned that Sarah was missing, he feared the worst due to the striking similarities. Anthony decided to help the police with their investigation, and on January 31, 2017, he agreed to secretly record a conversation with Liam. It didn't take much to get a confession. Liam was eager to talk and wanted to tell Anthony exactly what had happened to Sarah, describing her death in chilling detail, even recounting how she called out his name several times. The very next day, police arrested Liam and Preston. Sarah, Liam, and Preston had all been classmates at Neptune High School and were very close friends. Sarah had never dated Liam or Preston, but Preston had taken her to the prom just the year before. The revelation that they might have been involved in her disappearance and possible death shocked the beach communities of Belmar and Avon by the Sea. Unlike many cases involving a young woman, the motive was not sexual, but financial. Once Liam discovered that Sarah had money, he meticulously planned to obtain it by any means necessary. The police knew they needed more than the recorded confession to build a solid prosecution case, as Sarah's body was still missing. They got the break they needed when Preston, unlike Liam, decided to talk. Preston confessed to his involvement, providing the police with a detailed account. He pleaded guilty to throwing Sarah's body from the Route 35 bridge, robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, tampering with physical evidence, and 2 counts of hindering apprehension. In a devastating blow to Liam, Preston agreed to testify against him at the trial. At Liam's trial, he faced a litany of charges: murder, felony murder, conspiracy to commit robbery, hindering apprehension, tampering with evidence, and disturbing human remains. Despite the overwhelming evidence, he entered a plea of not guilty. Despite Sarah's body still being missing, the case against Liam was compelling. The jury heard about the motive, the murder, and the aftermath directly from Liam's recorded confession. They also listened to Preston, who recounted the entire sequence of events. He testified that on December 2, Liam returned to their shared home and admitted to strangling Sarah. That night, they drove her body to the bridge, threw her into the river, and left her car on the bridge to stage a suicide. Their plan nearly succeeded. Liam was found guilty on all 7 counts and received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Additionally, he was given a 10-year sentence for desecration of human remains, to be served consecutively. Sarah suffered a cruel betrayal at the hands of 2 individuals she deeply trusted. For 6 months, Liam meticulously planned an assault on Sarah. While she confided in him, made plans with him, and saw him as a lifelong friend, Liam was devising a scheme to steal her money and end her life. Believing Sarah possessed around $100,000, Liam's calculations were tragically inaccurate. Sarah actually had less than $10,000, inherited after her mother's passing. Though Preston didn't carry out the murder, the court emphasized his active involvement. Aware of the plan, Preston willingly participated and failed to intervene at any point. Unlike Liam, Preston expressed remorse during his sentencing, acknowledging his regret for his actions. Preston was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Despite Preston's apology, Sarah's father, Michael, found no solace in it. Devastated by the loss of his wife and only child, he struggles daily with the haunting realization of Sarah's fate and the absence of closure. Sarah's body remains undiscovered, a result of Liam and Preston's heartless actions, leaving Michael to endure the torment of uncertainty and loss.
He took Sarah's lifeless body, moved it not once, not twice, but 3 times, and dumped it into the Shark River. The pain and turmoil this case has had locally and nationally, overwhelming. Right and wrong, it was wrong. Evil, pure evil. No character, no words can be said to anybody that does anything like this to somebody's child.
As we know, prior to the sentencing, that Mr. Taylor lived with Liam McAtasney in Neptune City, in this small community where everyone, or for the most part, everyone knows each other. They clearly knew Sarah, knew Mr. Stern, knew the family. All these families know each other. This is really an unfortunate situation. This is the end of a long road for over 2 years for everyone involved. Clearly, Preston had the opportunity to stop this at many occasions. In the interest of justice, I'm going to post the following recommended sentence. And we will start with the count 2 robbery, first degree. I'm going to sentence Preston Taylor to 18 years in the Monmouth County in the state prison, and that's subject to the No Early Release Act, meaning he will have to serve at least 15 years before becoming, I think it's 15 years and 15 years and 3 months approximately before becoming eligible for parole. Sentencing in the matter of State of New Jersey versus Liam McAtasney. Mr. McAtasney is now 21 years old. Again, he lived in Neptune City. Everyone essentially in almost all of the family members that testified came from this small community of Neptune City. They all knew each other. That's what makes this really a heinous event, that these were 2 people, meaning Sarah and Liam, that knew each other since, I believe, grammar school. So on count 1, murder in the first degree, it's life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Count 2 is robbery in the first degree. This sentence will run concurrently, meaning at the same time. It's 20 years New Jersey State Prison. And count 5, desecrating human remains, is second degrees. That's 10 years consecutive to the other counts, to count 1 especially.
It's been a long 2.5 years for this journey. I think finally we got justice for Sarah. I love my daughter, and everybody else did too. She's a good kid. She was a talented artist. She was a rising star. Her life ended way too soon.